Okay, so now we're going to go through some of the basic tools in After Effects for anyone that is new to it. So this is what you will see when you start After Effects for the first time. To create a new project, you will go over here. And this will take you to your main workspace that will look something like this. So before we can start doing anything, we want to make a new composition. To do that, we click here. And here we can set the size of our workspace. And here we select the frame rate. And down here, we select how long we want our workspace to last. And here we can select our background color for when we're working. All right, so now we have our workspace. So this is our viewport, and down here we have our timeline. Up here we have our basic tools. So here we have our pointer that we can navigate and select things with. We can use this hand to navigate. And over here we have some of our basic tools. So if we click up here, we can select the rectangle tool. This would give us some more options up here. If we click here, we can select the color of the stroke. And here we can give the rectangle a fill. And here we have the stroke size. So if I now draw in our workspace here, we will get a rectangle. And if we click and hold, we can select different shapes here. Here we have our pen tool. With this, we can make shapes. By clicking that, and then we can make our shape. And if we want to grab and move these, we can click V or the arrow up here, and then we can move these around. And the final tool we're going to look at is a text tool. To use that, we will click up here. Then a menu will open up over here, and here we can select our text color, our text size, our font, etc. We then click here and add our text. Over here we have our project panel. So here we can see our composition. This is the one we have open right now. If we want to import files to the project, we can easily just drag them over into the project panel. Like this. So now we have our asset here. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete what we made, and then I can just drag this asset over. Either I can drop it down here, or I can drop it here. Now we're gonna quickly look at how to animate things. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a rectangle. And I'm holding Shift to make it square. Now you can see that we get this little crosshair here. That is the center point of this layer. So if I go ahead and rotate this now, it will rotate around this point. If we want the center point of this shape to be in the middle of it, we can hold Command and double click up here. Now if we rotate, it will spin around the middle. Now to make this move, we want to animate the position. To do that, we can either click P and it will reveal our position value here. Or we can twirl down, go to transform, and here we have some of our different values. So to animate this now, we want to add what's called a keyframe. To do that, we click the position stopwatch. This adds a keyframe. We'll then move in our timeline here up to 2 seconds, and then I'm gonna move this square by dragging it. This will automatically make a new keyframe. So now if I go back to the beginning and hit play, we can see that our square is moving. The same goes for all these other values. So we can add scale. So I click the stopwatch, I move forward, and then I change the scale. And if we want the rotation, we add the rotation keyframe, we go forward, and we change the value. Now if we want to add a basic easing to this, we can select all these frames, right-click on them, go to Keyframe Assistant, and select Easy Ease. This will make it ease in and ease out. Like that. And if we want to change this easing, we can select the frames that we want to change and click this icon here. This opens up the graph editor. And in here we can see our two keyframes. And the arc here shows how fast the animation is going. So to change this, we can select a keyframe and pull these handles, and this will change our easing. So now it's starting slow, it speeds up, and then it slows down. And to leave the graph editor, we click the same button again. Now we're gonna look at something called pre-comping. So now I'm gonna go ahead and add a few more shapes here. So to make sure that I'm not making the shapes on the same layer now, I'm gonna click outside here and do the same again. If I do it straight away now, it will add another shape on the same layer, as you can see here. Okay, so now if we want to pre-comp these layers, we select them and then we click Shift-Command-C. This will give us this window here, and then we can name it and hit OK. So now you can see that our squares have become one layer. So basically what we've done is that we have grouped these layers into a new composition. So we can actually go into this one, and this will give us the same window here, but now we can individually animate the squares out here. And then we can go back to our main layer here, and we could animate this layer too. There's a lot of different uses for pre-comping. It's great for grouping and keeping your work tidy, or if you want to add effects to multiple things at the same time. So let's look at how to add effects. First, we want to open the effect window. To do that, we go to Window, and then we go down to Effects and Presets. This will give us a panel over here. Here we can search for any effect we want to add. I'm going to go ahead and add a fill to this. So I'm searching for fill, and then I can grab this and drag it over and release. This will automatically open the effect control panel up here. This one you can find next to the product panel. So here you have the effect controls. In this case, we can change the color here. And as you can see, this applies the color to all the shapes within the pre-comp. Now if we want to add a colored background to this, we can go to Layer, New, Solid. This will open our solid settings. Here we can select the size, the name, and the color. This will make a solid layer here. And then I'm gonna grab this and pull it down. So now we have a background color. Now we're gonna take a quick look at masking. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a text here. We can use anything to mask other layers, but I'm gonna make a square here. Like that. And now if I wanna make sure that we can only see the last few letters that are now being hidden by the shape, I will go over to my text layer here, and then I'm gonna go Toggle Switches. And in here I can select a track matte. Track mattes are different ways at masking objects. So here we have the alpha matte. The alpha matte shows us what's inside the shape. And the alpha inverted matte will show us only what's outside the shape. So what I could do now is that I could position animate this, move forward in the timeline, drag this away, and then it will reveal our last three letters. Now let's look at how to use masking on a layer. So here we have our imported file from Flash. If I now want to mask directly on this layer, I can select the shape tool with the layer selected, and I can make a shape. That will create a mask down here. And like all the other settings, we can twirl this down and we can animate the mask path. So I'm adding a keyframe, and then I'm moving forward in the timeline, and then I can grab these points here and move them away. So here we have a very simple mask. And now, finally, if we want to render this as an animation, we can go to Composition, Add to Render Queue. This will open the tab down here where we can render our animation. We can then click down here. This opens our output module. We can then select the format from the drop-down menu here. So I'm going to render a QuickTime. So I'm selecting the format QuickTime, and then I want to select the format options. And here I can select my video codec. So I'm going to render this as a ProRes 422, which is one of the most common file settings to render when you do your final animation for a client. And then here I can select where I want this to render. And then to render this, I just click Render. Okay, so that's it for the After Effects basics.